Well, hello everyone. Apologize for making everybody wait. I was getting some water and had company of a tiny little beast. Little flexy Gumby thing. She's purring. She's growing up so fast. Anyways, you go back there. She's probably going to jump on me. She likes to do that. Okay, let's get started with some donations that we've got this week. Come on. Hello there. somebody was distracting me, so last minute additions to what I was doing. Oh no! Oh. Things I normally do before I go get water. What else was I doing? Oh, that's what I was doing. What's going on, little one? Okay. Okay, let me get my hands out the way. I'll put my assistant down. And we will get started on some donations that we've gotten. So let's see what we've got. I actually went to a bookstore yesterday, and they happen to have a ton of stuff that we didn't have. So I'm going to go over Fading Sun. So we have both editions of Fading Sun in the library, and never really seen all of the stuff that had been added into the game over the years. But there was a ton of stuff, and they even had duplicates. We didn't grab the duplicates. But let's go through what they did have. There's the Boba Fett mug. Feel free to chime in if you're watching. Let's see. So we've got the Byzantium Segmundus. And I don't know a whole lot about the Fading Suns universe, so I can't really talk much on it. Hey, Lackey, how you doing? Let's see. Children of the Gods, Abun and Ukar. So my guess is this is focused on those two gods. War in the Heavens. That makes me giggle because I think of Warhammer 40k lore. Fading Suns and Noble Armada. Noble Armada. I know that name. But apparently Fading Suns and Noble Armada share a universe. Noble Armada. It's going to drive me bonkers. So, War in the Heavens. Hegemony. This is the player's companion. So this will be nice. We have some core rulebooks. And stuff like this. I like it when they have a very player-centric book. Okay, I didn't play Noble Armada, which thankfully otherwise I'd probably have 10,000 models in a box somewhere. But yes, I love it when game systems do player-focused, smaller core rulebooks, because this is much smaller than the standard core rulebook. I wish I had it here because the standard core rulebook is twice the size, but you don't need a full book. If you look back at how first edition AD&D was set up, your player's handbook was really all the player needed. And some people complain because there was no combat or anything in there, but the player didn't need to know those rules. All that was in the Dungeon Master's Guide, which was considerably larger than the player's handbook. Because when you get somebody that's just starting playing and you hand them a book, like, wham! And as much as I love, like Dungeon Crawl Classics, they've got a massive book. It can be very intimidating. I have to remind people when they see that intimidating giant book that, hey, that's the player's handbook, that's the monster manual, that's the DM's guide. They put it all into one very well-priced book. But I also love, because I love Dungeon Crawl Classics for that, but I love when there is a slimmed-down version just for the player. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. So, weird places. I like books that are named stuff like that. Hey, look, let's go to weird places. Into the Dark. Orphaned Races. Hieronemen, Num, and Accessorbites. Star Crusade. Sounding even more 40k-ish. Legions of the Empire. Even more 40k-ish. I'm going to have to sit down and read these. Lil Holland. Fiefs. Naval or Imperial Survey number 4. Almacan Imperial Survey number 2. A GM screen. And a second GM screen. I think one is for first edition and one's for second edition. I don't know, maybe. I'll have to look to see if they're the same. Imperial Survey 1. Hawkwood. Oh, as I choked to death on dry mouth. How do you choke on a dry mouth? Imperial Survey 5. Decados. Oh, that's a weird, creepy... He has a praying mantis tattoo on his belly. Forbidden Lore Technology. This is definitely sounding more and more 40k-like. Spies and Revolutionaries. Hey, that looks like the dude from The Boys. Yeah, I finally watched the second and third season. Let's see. We got Fright Night, Haunted House. So we should be going to Crypticon later this year, and maybe we can get somebody to do some fun D20 horror stuff, or just some horror games in general for that event, being that it is a horror convention. Horror stuff's a little harder to do in a convention setting. You just usually don't have the availability to make the space sufficiently creepy for storytelling. From Game Designers Workshop, not GW, but GDW, Gary Gygax's Dangerous Journeys, Mythos, fantasy role-playing game with Dave Newton. When did this come out? This should have been like 95? 92. A little earlier than I thought. Yeah, Gygax went on and did a whole bunch of stuff through the 90s. Sadly, none of it was really a hit because as really creative as Gygax was, he was not a good writer per se. He has his own style and a very creative man. But by the time the 90s came out, his style and layout of explaining rules was kind of arduous. And it's funny because I do find first edition D&D easier to teach people than second ed. The rules were way more advanced than regular D&D, early D&D, but they weren't as complicated as second edition. But it did take a while for you to translate what Gygax was saying. So this is in his period of left TSR, and got a million ideas still, and trying to flesh them out into new worlds. And a lot of these, if you can find all this old Gygax stuff, there's so much great material here. It is a bit of a slog to read because of the way Gary Gygax wrote. What are you doing? What? Whoa, you were upside down. Getting visited by a monster again. Oh, she's gonna get you. She's gonna get you. What? She's so tiny. She's like 4 pounds. That's my microphone. No. Ah, your claw stuck. Okay, I'm gonna put you down. I'll put you down. Boop. Here, I'll move the books off your cat tree, and then you can go bonkers. Okay. Last thing we got in was New EDO. So, came in this really interesting little slip cover. So it was just slipped over it. And honestly, this is just a really nice touch. And as much as I want to just throw this away, I also want to slide this back on. It's a pain in the butt because it was put on and then a sticker was put on. So, New EDO, Salty Games. And then we got the Founders Edition of their book. It came with a little bookmark that has a little plastic samurai sword on it. I love that little edition. The cover is numbered. So this was a cover that they commissioned from one of the artists. Then all of them are hand numbered. So there were only 50 of this book put out, and this is number 20. And then a little note on the back. To Alexandria RPG, thank you for supporting an indie dev and a New EDO from Salty, not for resale. I do have to say, I may have dropped the ball on this, but we didn't get listed in their founders unless I missed our name in there somewhere. But I know that people from Salty Games are in our Discord, so maybe future printings will be in there. Overall, this is nice. I really want to see the standard edition because I believe a lot of the colors and everything on the inside of this were different. It wasn't just a new cover. And there's some really, really awesome art in this. And I'm looking forward to sitting down and tinkering with this because this is really neat. I've always been fascinated with with anime, which, a lot of anime drives that. New Tokyo, or Edo, genre. I mean, you go back and watch, Akira, stuff like that. And, I've always been drawn to that type of stuff ever since I was a little kid. And I think this just goes right up my alley and says, hey, this is something you're going to want to play. And it's really nice looking. And I like the, you can tell that that's actually pen and ink. It's not printed on. It was written on. Okay. Let us get to where I put my mouse. Oh. Boo-doo-doo. As you guys watch my hand. Watch it. Watch my hand. I gotta resize because my window, sorry about this, my window weirdly resized as I brought it back up. Okay. Boop. Let's see. RPG Superstar, the Pathfinder-based design competition, which was originally started by Paizo and taken over by a couple years ago by Roll for Combat. I know them. Is back for 2023. The contest comes with a cash prize from $25 to $250 and requires interest to design monsters for Pathfinder 2nd Edition tied to a specific elemental themes. The winners are voted on by a public vote, followed by a panel of judges. Monster submissions are open from March 15th, so 5 days ago, to May 28th, so 2 months left. The final winners will be announced in September. 137 winning monsters will be published in a upcoming book, Roll for Combat, Battle Zoo, Bestiary, Elemental Swarm. So, really looking forward to this. Their website is just RPG Superstar. .com, of course. Oh, okay. I do know the role. Yeah, the role for combat team. Definitely. They did a lot of live streams and got a lot of monetary donations during their live streams over the OGL stuff. That's why they sounded familiar. I mean, I have zero problem with that. I mean, they looked at what was going on and produced content. In fact, some of the library's best videos on YouTube are like 2 of the videos that I covered OGL stuff on, and that was what was driving traffic, and they would have been stupid to not do that. So yeah, if you want to take part in the RPG Superstar 2023, here you go. It is open and you can start designing. So, let's see. The Evil Genius has a license for the official Highlander RPG, and if you don't know so Evil Genius did their Kickstarter for their Everyday Heroes, and instead of releasing everything all at once for all the different IPs they got, because they like Rambo, Highlander, The Crow, they're like every other month releasing something. So all year long, you'll be getting items. And Highlander is going to be coming out from the Everyday Hero team. It's due out in May if the publisher, like it says, if the publisher isn't running behind. And then it tells you why they say that. Casey Stevens, the designer, brought on to help. Has had terrible news, and there's even a Pathfinder bundle to raise money for medical bills. So I don't know what's going on there, but in the link, you can click through to see and possibly help. So in the meantime, Eric Farrington and Blood and Spectacles Publishing have a strictly unofficial Princes of the Universe and RPG in the Highlander setting as a fan piece. The RPG is free to download. However, I suppose we'll have to see whether fan piece is significant protection for an RPG available in DriveThruRPG. What Evil Genius thinks, whether the excellent publishing branding of Blood and Spectacles Publishing, or even the game's title, Princes of the Universe, a reference to a line in the Highlander 1, and accompanying Queen rock soundtrack, are enough to keep the 30-page game available. It is. I found this really unique because they did put it up on DriveThruRPG. Because a year or so ago we chatted with some people that are doing an unofficial Legend of Zelda RPG, and it's that one. Oh man, wish I had the link to that right off the top of my head, but. Look up Legend of Zelda Tabletop RPG. You'll find it and download it totally for free. And the project is really well put together. Like, rules are good and the layout is beautiful. It is better put together than many published works by, large companies within the industry. So, if you can't wait for the actual Everyday Heroes version of Highlander, you can get a free 30-page download. So, I'm Duncan MacLeod, born 400 years ago in the Highlands of Scotland. I'm immortal, and I'm not alone for centuries. Yeah, you know that. Let's see. Black Flag, Playtest 2. So, Excited to hear about what's going on. So Kobold Press getting their second round of playtest packages for Black Flag. They've been working on this for a while, and there's a lot of interesting comments that people have talked about what they're allowed to talk about. So from what I have talked with individuals with, it is a really unique 5e replacement. So it is very 5e compatible in what I've seen. So they're just taking 5e and really cleaning it up and moving forward with the. So this is going to be like 5.5 open source versus going to 1D&D that's going to be closed and not well. The more they go through, it looks like the less it'll be 5e compatible, even though they said it would be. Chaosium. This is from their Twitter feed. They announced so the basic role-playing universal game engine. It's going to be released under Orc, even though we don't know what the final wording of Orc is. The library is part of the Orc community. We are assigned to support the process. Just because we currently support the process doesn't mean we'll necessarily support the end product, because we don't know what the end product is. But our voices are in there, and I haven't really talked about it much because what's going on behind the scenes is really solid, and looks like it's going to be just a good generic license for people to release their games under, to allow other people to also, like with the basic role-playing universal game engine here from Chaosium, rolling this out under Orc, anybody be able to use this and create their own cool stuff moving forward, and honestly, even not cool stuff. But that's kind of the beauty of something like Orc, the open role-playing game creative and then license. So it's the Orc license, and you want people to just be able to create cool stuff, and with that, to open that up to allow people, you will get people making bad things, whether it's things you don't agree with or whether it's just really poorly put together things, because we've seen a lot of those. Ultimately, it's good to have those things out there, because just because it doesn't attract your attention, maybe I'm not a big My Little Pony fan, so if somebody wants to put cool stuff under the Orc license for My Little Pony, if they get the licensing for it, go for it. Of course, I don't think they will. That's all tied up by Hasbro and now being put out by Renegade Games, which has a new version of the My Little Pony game out. I don't know what they're using. But anyways, the PDF, it says available in April, and then if you read through, the book will be available like third quarter of the year. So September, let's see, maybe it'll probably be September, maybe October. But Chaosium's been putting out quality products for 40 plus years. I'm kind of excited to see this. I want to get my hands on it, see what direction they're going. They didn't really it's a lot of teaser stuff. I'm like, whoa, teasers. Okay. We're going to look at some Kickstarter stuff now. So, sorry, I didn't warn the people that have to click away. Oh, sorry about that. My YouTube stream looked like it was all messed up. Let's see. Alex's Bombastic Oddities, a captive catalog of tabletop RPG resources, handcrafted with accessibility at its heart. So, out of Birch Run, Michigan. I think that's Michigan. 5 created, 26 packs, so they've been making stuff. Justin's the owner and founder of Crit Academy. So, this Kickstarter page is built to be e-reader friendly for viewers' convenience. Nice. That is something I do suggest a lot of people kind of see if they can do when they release books in PDF format, if they can make it in a way that e-readers can actually announce or read them properly. It's usually not that tough, but it is added time and expense. So I do understand why a lot of small creators don't do it, but it is something that would be really cool. I would love to see, more, just the availability for more people to play. So this is a system agnostic pantheon someone could pick up in a day, but also has many layers and folds that one might find a spark in. Thoughtfully created homebrew races born of the god's love that gave multiple ways of play. 10 NPC examples of how to go from classic trope to a multifaceted person, one of which could be you, as well as tables of characters, pillars for your creative needs, over 300 oddities, filling 6 D100 or D20 charts. Let's see. Some neat art. See what they have. NPCs and how to make them. Oh, nice. This is a way to bring in some NPCs in your game. See, the oddities D100 tables. The oddities where the wheels come off and the zany creativity begins. My hope is that your players encounter something on these charts, such as a set of goggles that, when worn at night, identifies constellations in the sky. I love silly little things like that to add to games, because just because the thing's magic doesn't mean it has to, destroy everything. Little things like goggles that identify the constellations in the sky. That could be a fun tool that nobody thinks about, but they may carry in their bag, and then all of a sudden you have them on a ship somewhere, and now, hey, look, I can do this. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Fae curses. The Fae are well known for their tricks and tomfoolery, and such this collection of silly yet annoying curses for you to use is as inspirations for the next time the party decides to call a pixie cute. Wheel of Misfortune, Table of Holding, novelty magic item ideas. Nice. I like this. This is cute. So, $15 gets you into the PDF. $20 gets you the PDF and a print on demand. Like that more people are doing that, because it gives a way to just allow people to get into something like Roll20 and get printed books without breaking the bank. Because most people don't realize the logistics on the back end of doing a book. They get together, they get it printed, they're like, and then now they have 2 pallets of books in their living room going, now I gotta take each one of these and box them and label them, and they're just dying. So the print on demand thing, at cost print on demand, is so awesome. Let's see, $30 gets you the PDF, the print on demand, and your name in the book credits. $40 gets you the No Excuses DM bundle. I like that. The PDF, Extraordinary Expeditions in PDF format, at cost print on demand for both. 3-month Obsidian Portal membership, not sure what that is, and your name in the book credits. And then you can do $50 the support literacy, which and a $10 donation to Dolly Parton Imagination. I've been seeing the ads for Dolly Parton Imagination Library everywhere, and I'm happy that she's still around doing awesome things. Obsidian Portal is a wiki site for maintaining campaigns. Okay, I'll have to check that out. So, and then you can get the retailer bundle and a signed copy. Nice. I like what I see so far, just because this is I like the tier of the no excuses GM because stuff like this is great for GMs to make stories better. As the GM, you're trying to curate a shared storytelling experience that everyone can enjoy. But you should still enjoy it too. You should want to help tell that story. You should want to bring people into this world that you're creating. And even if it's pre-written and you're pulling stuff from everywhere else, you're still creating it because you have to tell those players what's going on. You have to tell the story and you have to draw them in, and you want them to be part of this shared story that you're leading. And if you can use tools like this to take a little of that edge off, to be able to throw something cool in, like, oh hey, I never thought of goggles that could that, because that's something I may use in a fantasy game going forward. Goggles that can see the constellations at night. That is stuff like that is super awesome because it's not things that we think of regularly, and it can make your stories a little more interesting, a little deeper. Especially you throw those goggles out, and then the next time they sell them, and then 2 sessions later they're on a ship going, "Oh, why did we sell those?" So it's you end up with a lot of fun stuff like that. So love seeing projects like this that help the GM because everybody talks about the glut of, or the not the glut, but the inverse of a glut. We're at a deficit of GMs, and some of that I lay on how Wizards of the Coast is putting out books. The books just put so much stuff out there. They've been trying to capture the players' money because for the last 50 years we've captured the GM's money, and the industry has never really been good at capturing the players' money. Well, every time WotC puts out a book and they put 2 new races in it and they put 5 new classes and all this other stuff, and it's now so much more that the GM has to worry about. And they're like, no, hey, as a GM, you have to limit ththings, and that's not necessarily going to make the player happy because they just spent $50 on a book to be able to play this new thing. But all of these books with all of these different races and classes and everything in it, that puts such a strain on your GM. Having something like this, the GM can pick up and take some of that strain back. It's so good. I love having stuff like this because GMs, you have a full-time life, and then while you're doing your full-time life, you're trying to come up with cool things for people to do, and hopefully stuff like this can really help you out with that. Let's see. Daughter of Frankenstein talked about this when it launched a couple weeks ago. It only has 68 hours to go. I was hoping it'd be a little higher, but it is cool. This is so you have the Frankenstein story about Frankenstein creating Frankenstein's monster. This is taking that Mary Shelley story and continuing on. It's pretty neat. In true form, it is more horror based. So knowing that, if you don't know if you really don't know the Frankenstein story, because most people only know most of it from the movies. Most people haven't even watched most Frankenstein movies. They just know Frankenstein, and they all know that it's Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster because every pedantic know-it-all must tell you, oh, it's Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein created it. And you're like, yeah, thanks. We got that. But this is continuing that story, and if you're not really into the supernatural or body horror type stuff, because reading through this, reading through Frankenstein, the creature name is Frankenstein too. Yeah. Well, in the original story, I don't believe he was ever named, but it's colloquially understood that when you say Frankenstein, you're not talking about the scientist, you're talking about the monster. Because rarely who talks about scientists. So it is a very dark horror setting game. It is 5e compatible. It does look pretty cool, and being it's horror, there's going to be there's going to be body horror that's described and possibly illustrated in it. So it's definitely not for everybody. But if you're into horror, I think this is actually pretty cool. And if you're typically into horror, you've probably read the two classics, the most classics of horror novels: Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I think it's, yeah, see, stuff like that. That's definitely not for everybody. I think I saw that in a chiropractic shop once. So, $25 is the discounted PDF. $30 is the regular PDF. So you get the PDF and the player handout PDF. And yes, I love it. Shelley was 19 when she wrote Frankenstein. We're all slackers. Yeah, but on the flip side, what was Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of college and started Theranos, and stole $10 billion from investors at the age, started that at the age of 19 as well. So I mean, just because somebody was writing a cool book at 19 doesn't mean that somebody else wasn't doing really horrible things at 19. I've been into a big kick of how people have been able to fool people into investing in stupid things, like Bernie Madoff and Elizabeth Holmes. FTX. Everybody said I was nuts when I said don't put your money in FTX. Everybody's like, oh dude, this is great. I was like, bad vibes. But anyways, let's see. $50 gets you the Roll20 virtual tabletop module plus digital PDF. So then you could do the same thing for Foundry. And then $60 gets you the hardcover and the PDF. $80 gets you the hardcover, the PDF, either Roll20 or Foundry. $90 gets you the hardcover, the PDF, and a map print, US only. Oh, let's see if there's something with this map. I want to see map. There's some really cool art in this. Okay, map is a map. The map is a work in progress. So in 115 gets you the digital PDF, hardcover, the map print, and noir dice. And 350 gets you as a prominent NPC. Let's see, 500. Co-GM a 6-week game for you. Oh wow. 500. So they've got another 6-week campaign for sale. 1,000 gets you the Dark Angel Investor. Everything above and a custom NPC. Don't have $1,000 to give them. I wish I had money to give to all these people. Let's see. The Trapper, a zine GM guide on how to run this system agnostic monster used in tabletop RPGs. 61 hours to go from Rochester, New York. They're at $100. They wanted $100. This is like leftover zine quest stuff. The Trapper. This 16-page fully color illustrated zine will guide you on how to run the Trapper monster in your tabletop RPG game. There are always stories of people who become monsters, whether they were born with a monster's bent or they have had their humanity stripped from them. Here we delve into the stories of people who have followed their greed into the dark and dangerous regions of the world to gain wealth. Some are lucky and survive with the riches they have toiled for, while others fall prey to dark influences that drive them mad and twist their flesh into something unnatural, with hardened bark like flesh and a humpback covered in grass and flowers. These new creatures only see a dim light of their past lives as they hunger for food. Okay, this is creepy. I dig this. This is neat. This is okay. I'm intrigued. Let's see. So, $5. Willing to go as far as the light. You get a PDF version of Trapper Zine. $10. I brought a torch. You get the PDF and a physical copy of the zine. So, there's your choices. $5 for the PDF, $10 for both. I even dig the art. It's such a creepy concept. Let's see. Zoik. Zoik, I think that's how it's spelled. A zine quest tabletop RPG about cave people bonding with dinosaurs in an effort to survive a volcanic island on the verge of eruption. So this would probably fall into the stone and sorcery classification if they have magic. Wonder if they don't have magic. It'd be just the stone. With an ominous rumble, the earth beneath your feet seems to quiver. As the tremor dies, your entire tribe, as one, turns to look at the once whole mountain peak rising above the congested jungle canopy that blankets most of the island you call home. Now jagged and broken, the mountain spews an endless stream of ash between fits of coughing up liquid fire. Soon, all of the lush greenery will be razed to black rock. As your tribe takes the volcano's meaning, their scared gazes turn to you, fear sometimes giving way to hope. You are one of the bonded, the rare few who survived a ritual that conjoins the soul of a human and a dinosaur. The island is too dangerous for man alone, so the tribe's future rests on you and your fellow bonded shoulders. Will human cunning and bestial strength be enough to brave the wilds in search of the resources that can save your tribe, or will you betray their hope to an ashy demise? Honestly, that's A5 size, so small. Looking at no, let's talk about that now. Okay, well, let's look at, so for Zoik, pledge $10 for digital only, $15 for a physical copy. So you got the $10 or $15 option, and there's some gorgeous art in this. Man. That is super cool. I mean, there's like some really good art. Okay. Control V. Enter. That is not what I... I love it when Windows just saves a random something I copied, like 45 minutes ago. See, Tabletop News. Tabletop News is our weekly rundown of tabletop gaming industry's latest news created for gamers by gamers. So this was announced a little while back, and I didn't know that they were doing a crowdfunding for it, because I thought they had backing for this. What is Forward Fund? Yeah. Well, Lackey says essentially we're doing what you do, but with an LA production budget. Well, if they had an LA production budget, they wouldn't need crowdfunding. I've looked at the clips and stuff of what they're doing. So it's not just role playing; it's all of tabletop. So card games, board games, everything. So pretty cool. I dig the concept. I don't, just like the return of G4 TV. Comcast threw so much money at that. The market wasn't there for it anymore. I am not sure how big the market's going to be for this. I want it to do well, I really do. I just don't know if there's the market for support of a full-time, because they've got like 5 or 6 hosts, and they're going to have a ton of behind the scenes people. That's a lot of money. I really want it to do well. I do, but they've got to figure it out. Talk to some of the large Twitch streamers that do that have done RPGs for years, that have gone on to other things. Of note, they are targeting TikTok and Insta. I refuse to use TikTok. I just do. I think it is the worst of all social medias created. And as a photographer, I've always hated Instagram. As someone that works with teens, I get really frustrated with Instagram because teenage girls, very specifically, Instagram is horrible for teenage girls, and just yeah, you can look that up and find 8 million articles talking about how bad Instagram is for teenage girls, very specifically. But again, I really hope that they do well. Let's see, if you back them, $10, you get the Backer Kit Pass, backer only Discord channel enroll, name in the credits of episode 1 on our website. Okay. Adventures Kit, pics and video from each episode delivered during season 1, blooper reel. That's worth $25 right there. Name in the credits episode 1 on our website, and all the other things, $50. Tabletop News Kickstarter exclusive poster, physical printout, digital download, name of the credits, and all the other as per above, $75. What is this add-on? Whoa, a set of metal dice, official Tabletop News soundtrack digital download, and then all the rest. Just rock. How's that different? Oh, so it's same thing but without the dice. Okay. So you had rock and roll. Boom, boom. So you get the music and the dice. Just rock is just the music, no dice. I like that. That was clever. If they keep clever writing like this, I really hope they do well. I do. Because we like, tech industry has gotten a bunch of good YouTube channels over the years. And hence why stuff like Tech TV and G4 are no longer needed. There's way too many outlets out there. Yeah, and I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They got 7 talent in front of the screen. That is so much money. And then there's just so much behind the scenes that's going to be done on it. I really, really want them to do well, just because we don't have anything that's good within the industry. I actually want to turn this space into, I would like to build a studio in my backyard so I could get a couple people to come in and do a weekly show like this. I would love to do that, and I would be willing to include all the other tabletop stuff, because there's a bunch of there's always cool stuff going on. They've got a lot of ways to support them. They will definitely have to get some good funding behind them, and they are going to have to find a way to do this on the shoestringiest of budgets, because they already have really slick, like, if this is the sets they're using and everything, they already have a lot of like slick sets and stuff. That's a lot of money. Oh, Tabletop News, I'm 100% behind you, and I really hope that you find a way to make this work, because it is something that is kind of needed in our industry. because I don't have enough time to do this, to do more than what I do now, and I don't have the funds to do more. So you guys got a long ways to go. Fingers crossed. We'll be watching, and I'll shout you guys out some more. Let's see, Blood for the Con, tabletop RPG, fantasy RPG adventure and campaign. Level up your GMing with this mysterious and fearful D&D 5e adventure for characters level 2 to 5. Amazing stretch goals, near 450% funded. Wow, that's a long title. Wow, they were looking for 10 grand. They're almost 450% funded. Oh yeah, this is from GUI Cube. I love GUI Cube. They make some really cool stuff. They've donated a few products to us. Need to reach out to them and see if we can get some more of their stuff, because GUI Cube does make some really cool things. They have 5 days to go, so it's from GUI Cube. GUI Cube makes good things. They're a very small company. They're like four people, out of like a tiny little office. So, and again, they make some really cool things. I would definitely say, yeah, support them. This is only the second thing they've put onto Kickstarter. Everything else they've built on their own. Vernon Wells ran some GUI Cube stuff at ECC. Nice. Yeah, GUI Cube stuff is great. Reminds me, I need to get a hold of Vernon Wells, because we want to try to get some of our GMs to go up there and run some stuff for their members. So if you don't know what Vernon Wells is an awesome they're in Kirkland, I believe. And if you're up in that area, they're a members club. And if you get a membership, you can go in 24 hours a day. They have snacks as part of your membership, so you can get drinks and snacks. And they have video game consoles, they have board games, and then I'm trying to do some stuff with them so we can bring GMs up to run some games with them. It'll be a great way for us to try out new GMs in a more controlled environment versus saying, oh, you're a new GM, let's go play RPGs at Emerald City Comic Con. And they go, huh? So it'll be a way for us to work with the fabulous people at Vernon Wells. Love what they're doing. I would kill for something like that in my neck of the woods. I live too far away to go up there regularly. And really love what they're doing. And David and JP are doing awesome things up there. Yep, again, so GUI Cube, most of their stuff comes in a box, so you'll have your book and a ton of like add-ons and stuff. Yeah, I cannot suggest supporting them enough. Let's see. Alara Valor and Company. So, I'll be honest, I only clicked on this one because this cover picture here made me think of the crazy tales that were told about cinnamon. So, let me put my nerdy hat on as a history nerd. So, cinnamon used to be insanely priced because all the traders would come from the Mediterranean and then they would come over into Arabia or into parts of Egypt, and they would run into cinnamon in the markets. Well, cinnamon is literally just bark of a tree. So when you get cinnamon sticks, it's rolled up bark, and cinnamon powder is just ground up bark of a tree. And amazingly tasty bark. But they would charge exorbitant prices to all these traders that came from all over the Mediterranean that didn't know anything about it. And then we ask about it, like, where's it come from? And they would make up these crazy stories about, oh, I lost several men going up because it comes from the nests of these giant birds up in the cliffs south of here. And they would have to climb up, and they would have to fend off the birds while they pull out these pieces of cinnamon from these bird nests. And then when they bring it back, literally, it was just like, oh, if you go to like another 20 minutes away from here, you'll see trees, and we just gather the bark, and it tastes good. what is crazy and magical to someone else, it is common to another person. So I'll be honest, I clicked on this one because of that picture, and I've always loved the tales that were told to merchants about about cinnamon. Silly history with David. You're a librarian. So first created, but 10 backed, and nice to see they're backing other stuff. Some interesting art. Looks like they actually have their book put together. Gets good maps. The wild are dangerous. Let's see. Didn't see if it said what they're using as a system. And gives you a link to their Discord. Yeah, so you can actually check the game out, which is nice. So the system is Valor and Company. So it's their own system. See, $15 gets you the PDF and the player's guide in PDF. Again, good on you for doing the player's guide as well. $25 is the full digital release. So the core rulebook, the player's guide, the game master's guide, and the bestiary. Nice. It's not bad at all. That's depending on the size of them. $45 gets the hardcover release. That's the core rulebook and the player's handbook. So you get the player's handbook in hardcover, you get the core rulebook in PDF, and the player's guide in PDF. $70, the complete hardcover release. So Valor and Company core rulebook PDF, player's guide in. Let's see. Get all the PDFs and content nicely wrapped into a fully illustrated 400-page hardcover rulebook. Whoa, 400 pages. Okay. The Valor and Company first edition hardcover. So it's all of that rolled up into one book. Okay, interesting. I mean, it looks nice, and I wish them well, but they are close to. They only got 6 days to go. And we don't see much out of South Africa. Always like to see games out of interesting places. Let's see. Phelan's Journey of Extraordinary Items for 5e. Over 100 new magic items for 5e campaign and expanded tools to craft with them. So they're doing great. So they were looking for 10 grand. They're at 40 grand. 9 days to go. Anthony Woods, 3 created, 28 backed. So, looks like it is a very well put together system. Oh, yeah, they got cards. Nice. Let's see. $1, get our eternal thanks. 25 gets the book in digital. 40, book and item cards in digital. 45 is the physical book. 60 is book, physical, and digital. Again, I really hate that because they're charging $15 for the digital book on top of the physical book. WotC has made that a thing where you want to buy the physical, you got to buy the digital too. Then you get companies like Goodman Games go, oh, you bought our book for $25. Yeah, have the PDF too. So 70 gets you the book and item cards in physical. And then 100 gets you the book and cards in book, physical and digital. You also get some STL files with that too, which is nice. And then they've got some collections of their other books, and I like it when people do that, where you can pick up their previous stuff. Wretches and rewards, puzzles and traps. Puzzles and traps, puzzles and traps. So, I love stuff like this, and I hate stuff like this. So, they're killing it. They're over 100 grand. They got 24 days to go. Everybody's like, oh, this is super cool. But what happens when they don't continue supporting this? You have just a dead piece of digital gear. Oh, hey, we didn't update the app. And it's cute, but yeah, I how many of them do you have to have? And I mean, they are neat ideas, but again, what happens when the battery in it, the internal battery dies? So, neat idea. I personally don't really support stuff like this. You could do the same thing with just piece of paper and a standard die. You can go buy. I've got them upstairs. Carissa gave me a bunch of giant foam dice we got from the dollar store. We got like 8 of them, and you get 8 of those for $1 and some paper. You do the same thing, and it costs you a whole lot less, and don't have to worry about batteries dying or app support. Deep Sky Ballard. So this was on GameFound recently, and it looked neat. It funded on GameFound, and now it's refunding on here. So I'm not sure. It's the same thing. So I guess that they're just trying to get reach more people. Like, hey, we did a GameFound one, and they're in the process of that, and because they're not done, so all of the work they've done for the GameFound one, they're doing it again on Kickstarter. Hopefully they get more people, and then it's just, it allows them to print more. It is a neat looking thing. I talked about it a while back. It is, it's Firefly, Cowboy Bebop, and in a few other things just kind of rolled into one. It is really cool looking. It's actually fairly well put together, but it was already done on GameFound. They're just doing a second crowdfunding, but this time through Kickstarter. So I was supposed to talk to these people yesterday. This is Ben Thompson and Brian Snowdy and you'll recognize Brian from Magic the Gathering cards. Did a ton of Magic cards over the years, and then also did helped start. Oh, geez, what was that game? Competitor. Oh, Hordes and War Machine. He actually helped start all of that. So a lot of and Ben does some really great books. The art is amazing. I pledged personal money to do so if you do $5, you get all 5 completed modules will be emailed to you as PDFs the day they are released. So they're basically done. And so I was supposed to interview them yesterday. I will be interviewing them next Sunday. And all the different tier levels, what's cool is all the art is original art done by Brian, and Brian is an amazing artist. So you can pledge just the the $5 or whatever it is. Come on. Yeah, $5 gets you the 5 PDFs. But if you pledge more, you get an actual physical item, like the original of whatever piece of artwork that has been selected. So you can do the covers, and some of them are they're bigger and more. Oh, I missed the custom NPC. Not like I could afford that. Maybe I'll talk him into giving me a custom library and NPC in a one. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the art, and all this is they're stunning pieces, absolutely worth something that you would like to own, frame, and hang up in your home. And I'll be talking to them again this Sunday. Talked to them about 6 months ago when they were trying to figure out trying to figure out some of the ins and outs of launching some of this. but love it. And it was funny because after hour and a half, I think I stayed and talked for like 4 hours after that. All things some people would have loved, other people would have been like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Let's see. Vintage Adventures for OSR systems. So they were looking for $2,000. They're at $10,000 with 3 days to go. Out of Los Angeles, California. So it's a set of adventures. So $13. You get all 3 of these in digital. So if you, this is $5 for 5 with amazing art. If you go to 19, you get the printed and you get the printed version of the old library. Another 19 goes to you get the Hidden Citadel in PDF and printed. 41, you get all 3 of them printed and digital. And then there was the early bird printed. So you can get all of them printed and digital for $41. $19 gets you any lone one, or $13 gets them all in digital version. So I always love that when TSR did the maps on the inside covers. It was such a great way to use unused space. And then this was all just stapled together. This wasn't. Now the downside is, years later, people have this or they have this, but a lot of people don't have both. Let's see. From Lazy DM's Forge of Foes for 5e. Didn't meet Dave the Lazy DM. I met people that work with him and help with a bunch of stuff, and he's killing it. Wow, $200,000. 10 days to go. So the Lazy DM, they always putting out good stuff. Absolutely worth a pickup because they make pretty great stuff. So $30 gets you all 4 Lazy DM's books in PDF. 15 gets you this one, the Forge of Foes. 40 gets you Forge of Foes hardcover, nice, plus PDF. $100, all 4 Lazy DM books in PDF and physical. Well, that's actually not bad at all. Severed Fate, an OSR RPG adventure. I love that OSR stuff's picking up steam. They're looking to get to 2,000. They're a good chunk of the way there. 41 days to go. Smoldering Dung Games. Tell me that's not a great freaking company name. Where are they out of? Orlando, Florida. Wonder if that's Gator Dung. Gator Dung. I think I gotta sneeze. Wow. Had a little whiff of dust. Wow, I can hear it on my phone. It's down to the lowest volume, but I was much louder than I thought. Let's see. $3. Your name printed in backer's page in 12-point font. $5. Your name printed in backer's page for 14 font. $25. Your name printed in 14 font and a digital copy of the book. You can get your name printed in the book without ever buying it. $50. Name printed in 14 font, digital PDF copy, and a printed copy of the module. Pledge $100 or more, Bundled Fate. Your name printed in the back of the book, the digital PDF of Severed Fate Adventure module, a printed copy of it, and the back issue bundle, 4 flipping and turning magazines. Flipping and turning. Flipping and turning. I love Squirrel Fight. That is goblins versus squirrels. I need to make this adventure now. I love it. I love the art. The art is so silly. This one is doing really well. 24 days to go. Funded in just 3 hours. That's actually, they wanted $30,000, so that's a sizable amount. Saying funded, I love the ones like, we were funded in 3 hours, and you look like $200. Telling me, there we go. Opened that before I cleared my surveys. So first created 6-pack, and doing really well on a first created. Nice. So very nice looking campaign. So what's inside of Mythcraft? 11 classes, 14 lineages, 23 backgrounds, occupations, and professions. Scores of talent points and tons of spells, over 1 million unique combinations of abilities. Fresh take on combat with action point system. Unique spellcasting system with intricate source interplay. Official setting spans 15,000 years and 4 distinct Superians, rich with lore. Approachable for beginners, endless customization for experts, tons of campaign hooks and setting options, easy to brew your own. Let's see. Oh, it's a 3-book set, looks like. Let's see. $15 gets you early access on Discord, playtest, name and the credits on. So, there we go. $60 gets you Discord, play test access, name credit on website in the book, and a first edition core rulebook physical. So $100 gets you the core box. All of that, the Mythcraft box, first edition core rulebook, quick start guide, official character sheets, and the pre-build characters guide. $180, the essentials bundle. Gets you all that, and then get you 4 quick start guides, which is nice. So you can hand out to your players. The collector's edition, that is probably that. Kickstarter exclusive core rulebook, alternate cover. So I like the fact that they pointed out that this was Kickstarter exclusive, alternate cover. Because I get frustrated when it's like, hey, we have a collector's edition, and all that's different is the interiors are all identical, and it's just a different cover. Call it an alternate cover. A collector's edition is, if you've been to events where the library shows up, we like to pull out some limited runs and collector's editions, and there's more than just new pages. Like, they do cool things with the art, or they put a leaf on the pages. There's different paper for the pages, bookmarks, all kinds of stuff. And it's like, oh, this one is at least nice and upfront. It is an alternate cover, even though the tier says collector's edition, but that gets you the alternate cover, early access, playtest, name in the credits, creature compendium book, Myth Crafter's guide rulebook, Myth Crafter's box, quick start guide, official character sheets, pre-build characters, GM screens, signed art prints, and official Mythcraft dice set. Those are nice looking dice. Ooh, the special council package. So all of that, plus you get the Hearthstone of Verdith adventure PDF, signed art prints, dice. So adds. Looks like it adds the adventure, unless I'm missing something, and then the retailer pledge. But looks nice overall. And they're doing well. There's really neat art. Oh, you can play as a bunny rabbit. Oh, you could make a really interesting Watership Down game. Some really cool looking stuff. Really nice art. Looks like it's definitely, who is the creator? Grant Michael? Definitely has put a lot of work into this, and I love seeing the proper work being put in before you get to the Kickstarter. The people I've talked to, the best Kickstarters are the ones where, hey, we just need a little more art. We need to get to pay for someone to help finish layout, stuff like that. Like, We're not looking for, hey, we've got a great idea. We're like 80% done with the writing. We've got no art and we've got no layout. We'll be good. It's like, oh, so much of a nightmare to work with behind the scenes, where it looks like Grant here has really, gone out and got a ton of artwork. Layout looks like it's, done well. I mean, this is just a mock-up, but if you have a mock-up and you have layout like this, it means I can guarantee you've got more layout done. So, again, there's a lot of really great artwork. Look at this. They're really nice. And this is a really well laid out. There's a lot of information here. So you can see all the stuff you get in the different tiers. I love it when they do that, because reading through, you're like, oh, what do I get? But if you can actually show the bundles, it's very good. Wow. Oh, that's the retailers. Special counsel. Okay, let's see. What do we got on GameFound? So, Talislantia, epic tabletop role-playing game, final edition, 6th edition with the final edition. So, this game has been around a while. We've actually had a bunch of people talking about it at Emerald City. We had, I think, 5th edition out. But the epic diverse tabletop RPG game final edition, 6th, with separate 5e conversion is back, and after 35 years, still no elves. With all new color illustrations and 3 giant tomes, over 100 epic player character archetypes of epic, tons of epic monsters, an epic atlas and GM's guide to the world, and of course, no elves. Written and designed by the original Talislantia creator Steven Setchi. Partnered up with Everything Epic to revamp the game into an all-new final epic 6th edition of the game. Until 7th edition. And it is a really cool world. I kind of like that they don't do elves, as much as I like playing elves in many other games. It is a really interesting, cool world. I'm intrigued to see what the rules are like, because the older editions were a bit clumsy in how they were laid out, and people would read through and like, man, I really want to play this because the world seems cool, but they would get frustrated by the book layout and the rules layout, and they were like, this mostly makes sense, and that's just kind of the nature of the era that it was created in again, because when was the last edition of this put out? Early 2000s, I think. I'm going to cheat and look it up real quick. Just dump that. Originally, it came out in 87. When was the last edition released? So first edition, 87. Then second edition was 88. Third edition was 92. Oh, it was by WotC. Oh, yeah. I've got a WotC one. The 10th anniversary was in 97. Fourth edition was Shooting Iron and Morgan Press, which I believe we have a copy of. That was in 2001. And then the D20 edition came out in 05, and 5th edition came out in 06. I don't think we have a first edition. I think we've got 3rd edition on. So, interesting. And let's see. So for $200, well, you get a lot of stuff. This product consists of the Epic Complete set of 4 books, physical, the PDF of all 4, the Collection Edition slipcase, which is this little thing that you slip over all the books, the exclusive gold D20, gold colored, the cover art print, the collector's edition dice set, the Epic GM screen with cover art and information on the interior. Well, I hope it's got information on the interior. Be kind of a worthless GM screen without it. 3D printable STL of Thrall Warrior and unlocked with and all unlocked with stretch goals. Cloth map of the city. Set of 10 landscape art prints and a high quality cloth map. But it is $200. But if you know the world, it is a big, crazy, epic world, and I'm hoping that they got some great people to help with the rules and maybe clean it up some, because a lot of people love the world, love the setting. I mean, this is the stuff you're running into the world. It is a bonkers awesome world. But the rules are a little all over the place in the non-D20 stuff. Let's see. Oh, I actually forgot to search Indiegogo. So, let's see. From Humble Bundle with 11 days to go. You got the Castles and Crusades from Troll Lord Games. I cannot speak highly enough of Troll Lord and Castles and Crusades. It's a good system. The Player's Handbook and Monster Treasure, I don't know if they still are, but they were free for quite some time on their website, which is badass. They were like, with all the OGL stuff going on, hey, here's our core books for free in PDF form. So for $18, you can get the Player's Handbook, the Monsters and Treasure, which I believe they're still free on their on the website. But you get a ton of other stuff. You can play in Old Greece. Beware of Yule the Cat. Germania, Gods and Monsters, Rune Lore. So you can play this in a wide variety of mostly European-based folklore, but doesn't say that you can't branch out into even more. And they've got a lot of their own, because like Goblins of Mount Shadow is very much their own. Here's some Egyptian-based lore. Let's see, the Hanged Man. There's so much, and it is actually a really straightforward system to learn. I was very impressed with it. Let's see. Shadowrun. This is the 5e Mega Bundle. So, for $18, you get Shadowrun 5th Edition Core Rulebook, Run and Gun, Street Grimoire. This is open for 9 more days. Run Faster, Chrome Flesh, Data Trails, Rigor 5, Howling Shadows, Forbidden Arcana, Street Lethal, Kill Code, Dark Terrors, Stolen Souls, and more and more and more. So, yes, Shadowrun is on the 6th edition, but 6th edition's gotten kind of mixed reviews, and from most of the people I know that play Shadowrun, they all really, and many of them have been playing for years, so they've played 2nd and 3rd edition as well, 4th edition, and most of them say 5th edition is the most solid edition. So hopefully when there's a 7th edition that comes out, maybe they'll listen to the players and say, oh, let's borrow a little bit from what we did in 5th, and maybe clean up 6th. Because I don't know what the changes were. I have played 5th. I love the Shadowrun world. The rules have always frustrated me. But you can't really get rid of those rules and keep the same weird bonkers feel of the game. You can use the setting in any type of rules, but it's not the same without the insanity that is the bucket of D6. And then Cubicle 7 got the rights to all the Dark Heresy stuff that Fantasy Flight was putting out, so $25 for 46 items. And from what I understand, they're going to be putting out another book for this soon. So if you've bought into the Fantasy Flight stuff that was put out for ages, it is now Cubicle 7. This has 16 more days. So Black Crusade allows you to play Chaos stuff, including Chaos Space Marines. Only War is playing IG, Dark Heresy, you're playing Inquisitor stuff. The Inquisitor's Handbook, the Ascension. So these are more. So this brings in like a bunch of Sisters of Battle stuff. Disciples of the Dark Gods, the Radicals Handbook. So this is more on the Chaos end of things. If it's labeled Black Crusade instead of Dark Heresy, this is if you're playing on the Chaos side. Yeah, I have no clue. Like, this blew me away the first time because they put this out last month, and Cubicle 7, because they have the Wrath and Glory, but apparently they're still doing Wrath and Glory, and they're doing this. And I don't know if all the art and everything belonged to Games Workshop, and they were able to get all of the rights to this, but man, it is really cool. It is a D10 based system. Some people love it, some people don't. The books are really easy to figure out because, like, if it says only war, it is designed for an Imperial Guard focused campaign. If it says Black Crusade, it is designed for playing as Chaos. If it says Dark Heresy, it's for if you're playing as part of the Inquisition. Now, you can use some of the only war Imperial Guard stuff, or Astrum Militarum, whatever they're called now, and you can put them in with an Inquisition thing, or even do, Fallen Guard, more Dark Heresy stuff, and then do Dark Heresy enemies throughout. Do they have? There's the Only War Game Masters. I'm looking for. Because there's way more of this stuff than I thought there was. I don't see. There's one book I don't see in here, and that is. What's the? Oh, why can't I think of it all of a sudden? The Space Marines that that didn't help. Deathwatch. Didn't see Deathwatch. Let me Control F. Doesn't look like they have the Deathwatch book in here. No. So the Deathwatch book is super cool because it allows you to play as Space Marines. The upside to not having it in here is you don't have everybody go, I want to play Space Marines, and everything else is wasted because once you bring a Space Marine in, everybody has to play Space Marines. Because one Space Marine is worth more than 100 Imperial Guard. So, yeah, these are your 3 core books. There is a 4th core book, that's Deathwatch, but it doesn't look like they put any of the Deathwatch stuff in here, which is kind of cool. Also kind of sad. Maybe they don't have the rights to it yet, but super excited. $25 gets you basically everything that they made for those 3 settings. And then, you also get a $2.99 for the first month of Warhammer Plus. Warhammer Plus is all but dead. Just ignore it. And you get a 15% off coupon for Cubicle 7, so you could pick up Doctor Who or Wrath and Glory at 15% off. Or a bunch of stuff. The more you buy, the less you pay. Is that how it works? Okay, let's look at our bundle of holding. So this has 12 minutes left. Advanced Fighting Fantasy. So $8 gets you the Advanced Fighting 2nd Edition. And this is something that Steve Jackson and several other people helped create. So you get the Advanced Fighting 2nd Edition, Heroes Companion, the Sorcery Spellbook, and Out of the Pit. And then if you go up to $20, you get the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, Titan, Beyond the Pit and Black Sand, and Crown of Kings, the Sorcery Campaign. So, ton of stuff for a really cool fantasy game that's been around for a little while. It is a lot of fun. Let's see. We'll go to more fantasy fighting. So has 11 minutes. So if you buy the other bundle or you already have some of those, look at this bundle. So $10 gets you Rough Guide to the Pit, Demons of Doom, the Titan Herbal. So if you want to get into funguses and weird plants. And 3 Advanced Fantasy Fighting Adventures, the Crooked King's Cup, Floating Dungeon of Varak Asur, an Inn of Last Hope. And then if you go up to $21.95, you get all of that, plus Combat Companion, Encyclopedia Arcana Treasures, Citadel of Chaos, Return to the Pit, and Travels of Arion. And honestly, with those two, so like $40 or $45 or something like that between the two, you'll be playing for a couple years. Goodman Game, D&D, 4th edition. So, Player's Collection, so $18. This has 21 days. You get Asgar's Guide to Rituals, 2 Forgotten Heroes Guides, the Sith and Shroud, and Fang, Fist and Song, 4 4E Heroes Handbooks, Dragonborn, Elren, Tiefling, and Immortal Heroes. Is this for 4E D&D? See, Adventures. Goodman Games 4E presents tabletop role-playing supplements by Goodman's. Okay, yeah, this is for 4th edition of D&D. This is interesting. People putting some 4E stuff out there. And 4E Character Codex. And then if you go up to $28.18, you get all that, plus Black Dirge's Dungeon Denizens, 4 4E module collections, In Search of Adventures, 4 from Here to There, Frank Frazzetta's Death Dealer. Oh. If you don't know Death Dealer, there's the art. That needs to be converted to other editions. Master Dungeons 1 and 2, and 4E DM Campaign Record. So, if you are into 4E, which, again, I will tell people, 4th edition is not a bad system. It was a bad D&D, but that's if you're playing with the base stuff. With this, you can branch out and do a bunch of really fun, crazy stuff. Let's see. GURPS 4E, 7 days. So for $18, GURPS Martial Arts, Tactical Shooting, Gun Fu, and High-Tech Gun Books, the Adventure Guns, Pulp Guns version 1 and Pulp Gun version 2. Then if you go up to $40.41, you get 5 more action supplements, Heroes, Exploits, Furious Fists, Specialist, and Dictionary of Danger. I want a Dictionary of Danger. I really do. 4 GURPS Martial Arts expansions, the Fair Baron Close Combat, Gladiators, Technical Grappling, and Yurth Fighting Styles. Transhuman Space Martial Arts. So that's the GURPS futuristic stuff, martial arts. So I guess you get to learn all the. This is GURPS 4E. Yes. This is Goodman Games D&D 4E. So they have 2 different 4E things. One is D&D 4th edition. One is GURPS 4th edition. So this one, the Goodman Games one, just kicked off a little this last week. Yeah. So it is a little confusing that they've got 2 entirely different systems, 4E going on. So this is all 4E D&D, which really threw me through a loop. And the big thing to get off that is this Death Dealer book. I've seen this book. It is really good. So that was this is the GURPS 4E Combat Action, and then this is the GURPS 4E Supers. So $10 gets you GURPS 4E Supers and GURPS 4E Super Powers. Save the world or destroy it. So $10 gets you the 2 books, which is a really good deal. And then if you go up to $35.07, you get all those. You get those 2 books plus 4 superpower expansions: Divine Favor, Enhanced Senses, Tomes and Nature Spirits, and the Weird. So, whether it's godly powers, just superpowers. Oh, last week they did the Shadowrun 5e and confused the fuck out of the r/RNDD. Well, you've got the Shadowrun 5e stuff that's on Humble Bundle right now. So, yeah, the 5e Mega Bundle. Yeah, there's more than just the one game out there. And this is a better Mega Bundle than 5e. It would D&D 5e. And so for that $35, you get the 4 superpowers, which you get the 2 core books, the 4 superpowers, which is Divine Favor, so godly powers, Enhanced Senses, so like superpowers, Spidey sense, stuff like that. Totems and Nature, so that's mythological style stuff, and the Weird, which is like psychic powers and stuff. It's been a little while since I've looked at these, like the physical versions of these, going off of memory from each. And then the 9 GURPS power-ups. So incumbents, perks, talents, enhancements, quirks, wildcards, and more. So tons of stuff. If you like superhero games, GURPS Supers is actually a really good way to go. I love Mutants and Masterminds. I still have a soft spot for Champions. If you want to nerd out on insane mechanics and everything, Champions is your friend. If you don't want to nerd out on every little thing, stay away from it. Mutants, Masterminds, and GURPS, I think, are 2 of my favorite superhero games. And I think that's it. Yeah, that is it for this week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Salty Games, for awesome book and the customization. What did we get a share here? Oh yes, I talked about this already, Eric, earlier on, just before we got to the Kickstarters. So, Chaosium. So this is their new core rulebook, and the PDF will be available next month. The physical book will be available like September-ish, and this will be released under the new ORC as they've announced it. So hopefully we will see a release of the ORC, the Open RPG Creative License, so ORC license. So hopefully we will see the ORC license in the very soon. And what I've seen of it so far, I'm actually very pleased with, because they're trying to keep it as straightforward and simple as possible. And hey, here's a license to release your stuff under an open set of role-playing sharing rules. If you want to go further, then you do licensing. And that's the way, like, Paizo has done it for a while now. People don't realize that their core rules are released under, were released under the OGL and will be released under the ORC. But if you want to make anything that says Pathfinder on it, you actually have to enter into a licensing agreement with them. And they're very restrictive under it. And I think that's the way it should be. Like, hey, here's our mechanics. We're going to release them under this open license so that you don't have to go through the effort to recreate this if you want to make something compatible. And here's a license if you want to make it officially part of our world. And I like that. That way, if you want to do, Sword Lesbians. I think that was the game that came out a while ago. You want to use the same core rules, which are Fate. Fate is released under OGL. You can use the Fate, and will hopefully soon be released under, like, the ORC. You can do that, and you can do something very similar. But if you wanted to do something with Evil Hat and an expansion to Thirsty Sword Lesbians, you have to enter into a license agreement with them. Same thing with most everything. So this is really cool. I'm actually super stoked to see this. This one came out of nowhere. I didn't hear anything about this through any of the people I know through the industry. So I'm actually super stoked. I want to get my hands on this as soon as possible. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope we covered some really cool new stuff and got some actually really cool news versus generic news. And over the next few months, we'll be seeing actually a whole lot of really cool announcements. There's a lot of really awesome stuff coming up, and super excited about that. If you want to support the library, you can go to alexandriarpg.com and you can see how you support us. You can do it via Patreon. You can do it by being a subscriber here on Twitch. We don't have the ability to be a subscriber yet on YouTube, but you can send us money via PayPal and help us continue to exist, get to more events, and share a bunch of awesome things. We've got NorwestCon and SakurCon coming up. We're actually going to be doing a paint and take. Lethal Shadows is hooking us up with minis. Terror Crux Games here in Tacoma actually is providing pitched in a bunch of paints for us. They're fairly generic paints, but it's a paint and take, so we're not putting out 1,000 colors for people to play with. It's like 10 or 15 colors per table. Some people might like, oh, we need more. I'm like, oh, you're doing a paint and take for free. You get a free mini out of this. Please be happy with what you have. And we're not going to game this week, so no game on Wednesday. If people want, we can do some live stream where I just answer random questions about RPGs, or maybe we'll start a DM advice night or something. But anyways, next Sunday I will be sitting down with Ben Thompson and Brian Snoddy and talking about their release of their 5 modules that is closing soon. It closes like on that Monday or Tuesday following. So super excited about that. But until then, the library is now there. Come here. The library is now closed, and thank you all for tuning in. And please, if you can, find a way to assist the library. And I don't expect anyone to be like our board members that put a lot of time and money and effort into doing what we do. We have some amazing board members, be it my wife or I, Eric Lackey, and why did I just forget Justin's name? I just see his face. I just talk to him. I don't say his name enough. And between the 4 of us, we put in a large sum of money into the library every year, keeping it going. And I would love to be able to take some of that burden off of other people, and even myself. I'd like to be able to, re-roof my house this summer. That money's gone into the library. So until next time, the library is now closed.